Welcome to our UFC 304 early prelims recap, episode 177 of the Beefy Boys breakdown, the only show out there going over every single fight on every single card. And man, jerking the curtain, we had Bannon versus debuting Alice Ardelean at strawweight. And man, this fight was a stinker, but it was a stinker with some interesting scorecards, so we will dive into it a little bit. I gotta say, Bannon, she don't pass eye test, the smell test.
Yeah, smell test number one test not getting passed.
It just doesn't look the level. It just doesn't. It just very, it's like when you're watching preseason NFL football and it's like, yeah, that's a 49ers jersey, but that's not a 49ers player. Right. It's like she has UFC on her shorts. That's NBA Summer League. That's NFL preseason. That's Hall of Fame game, maybe, perhaps.
Right. It's week 2 of training camp cuts. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure, brother. And yeah, she must know the right people. But yeah, taking on Alice Ardelean, who you could argue was like a hand-picked, kind of supposedly winnable fight for Bannon.
Yeah,
they were trying to
a hand-picked can for a girl that's Irish fighting in the UK.
Yes, and they tried to give her an alley-oop. One of those things where she has to abandon the dunk but gets the layup. She ends up getting the win here, but this was supposed to be a layup, and she made it a lot harder than it had to be. When I said this has controversial scorecards, it's because it's the classic scenario where I think round 1 has a clear winner, round 3 has a clear winner, and round 2 is super murky. So that leads to scorecards being all over the place. Is that how you saw it?
Maybe. It depends on how you saw round 1.
I saw round 1 to Ardelean, and like I said, I don't really have it as close or hard to score or anything like that. She was on top for about 4 minutes. I thought for the brief time they were on their feet, she landed harder. Bannon was throwing up subs from the bottom, but nothing was close. And so I mean, I don't think going 0 for 5 on subs wins you a round.
So I scored it to Bannon, but I thought it was super close. I just thought that Ardelean's activity was stifled by the offense off Bannon's back. Now, I see your grimace. 2 judges agree with me here.
I just don't like that. Remember earlier when I gave Kopp that round because he was landing damage from his back? That's very different than throwing up. Bro, I mean, did you interpret any of those subs as being close? I never once my palms didn't get sweaty. I never was oh, she's in trouble here. It was meaningless spamming of non-damage inflicting subs.
I looked at it more philosophically of who was attacking, who was defending.
Okay. But I mean, yeah, see, I saw this round firmly for Ardelean. If you spend 4 minutes of the round on top, you don't get submitted, none of the subs are close, you win. I would argue she won the damage battle. Now, you could argue that no girl did any significant damage, but of what damage was done, I think it was Ardelean that did it. I struggle with giving round 1 to Bannon. Don't care enough to die on the hill, and we just presented both sides of the coin there for the viewers, so you can take that, juxtapose it with how you saw it, and get back to us in the comment section. But yeah, so we disagree on round 1. Now, round 2, I thought round 2 was the murky round. Round 2, I legitimately struggled to kind of make up my mind on.
I thought rounds 1 and 2 were both very close.
Round 2, I gave to Bannon that head kick. No, it was by no means the most impactful or damaging head kick. It was a slapping kind of head kick. But in a fight like this, it was by far the most damaging, probably impactful strike landed. And she landed that blitzing punch combo straight out of the Drekus Day 1 playbook. And it landed. She landed about 3 or 4 decent punches with that head kick. What Ardelean got a takedown with some control. See, I feel like I'm being consistent with the damage because I didn't think Ardelean did any damage in 2. And I don't think Bannon did any damage in one. So I'm consistently scoring the rounds to the girl that does the damage. I give 2 to Bannon.
I also gave 2 to Bannon. I have her winning 1 and 2. Now, granted, I had 1 as like super coin flippy round, and 2 being very close as well. I thought 2, for as much as I like lawyer balled my way into giving Bannon 1, it was like I couldn't not give her 2, if that made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you gave Bannon 1, you definitely got to give Bannon 2.
Now, there's a judge that didn't do that. Anders Olsen gave 2 to Ardelean and 1 to Bannon. And then there's a judge
That's gross. You see my face?
And then there's a judge that gave 1 to Ardelean and 2 to Ardelean, which I don't necessarily hate, but I still don't love.
Yeah, I like it more than the other one, but obviously less than my own. Round 3. I thought round 3 was Bannon's best round. The body kicks.
I thought round 3 was the most clear of the entire fight.
What? So you went 30-27 Bannon?
Yes, which is why I texted originally last night, and I was talking about how, damn, they tried to rob her because it goes to a split. But then, like I said before, like after rewatching round 1, I realized, like, oh, there's a real path to victory here for Ardelean.
Yeah, I remember I responded. I was like, we'll talk about it on the pod. I was like, dude, got robbed. What? But yeah, I mean, I do think the right girl won for sure. Bannon won that fight. But she won the fight against a girl who's like quite literally not UFC caliber. She was like 9-5 record outside of the UFC.
I know, terrible.
And like once again, Bannon just does not pass the smell test. Like I think, well, actually, Bruna Brazil already. I was gonna say Brazil beats her for sure, but Brazil already has beaten her. Know who she beat unless they literally feed her a Marnik Man. Like if they want to feed her, like if they schedule her against Marnik Man or Pooja Tumar. You know what they're trying to do there.
Pooja Tumar would be the one I would imagine gets scheduled, man, because Bannon is an absolute can that for some reason they've invested money as a brand in, and they don't typically just let that money go to waste unless the person fucks it off like Makayev.
You know something funny? You know who was like talking shit on Twitter? Who is like, ironically, have both of these fighters in can tier. So like, this is the fight I want to see. Diana Belbita was like literally like, this girl is like garbage. So I forget how she worded it, but like I have Diana Belbita in the same team.
I was gonna say so Belbita's like calling a can when she's a can. Like that's some crazy can shit.
Bro, I'm handling Belbita.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. If a can's that big, that chesty with it, I like it.
Like, oh, I see something. Yeah. But I think we have spent way too much time talking about that fight. Let's get to Mick Parkin here. Performance of the night, winning Mick Parkin, taking on Lucas Brzeski, plus 400. Man, I'm so glad we got Parkin when we did. Did you see the line movement and what we got him at?
We got him like extra like 120
We got him at
points.
minus 370. By fight time, it was all the way up to 530 minus 535. So like
165. Yeah, more than that.
Yeah,
God damn, and that's crazy because when we looked originally at it, it was minus 320 when we loved it.
Bet it on Friday. We usually place our bets on Thursday, but we placed our bets on Friday. So who knows if it would have been even better. But yeah, I mean, Parkin is an undefeated guy. One of the only heavyweights I give a fuck about. Like one of the only heavyweights I have like stock in. And Brzeski is, I think he was 1-4 coming into this one, with his only win being over Walter Walker, right?
Or did he beat Arlovsky when they fought, or no? I'm looking it up right now. He hadn't fought Arlovsky. Yeah, Walter Walker is the only win. I was thinking.
I remember because I lost money.
I was thinking of Martin Budai because Budai just fought Arlovsky, and he went to split with Budai.
But yeah, man. I mean, Parkin. Chris, bro, he landed that left hook whenever the fuck he wanted to. It was landed all night. And then eventually one of them was, I mean, if you're a heavyweight, just landing clean left hooks, like, it ain't going to last that much longer.
You know what I mean? The show's going to end at some point. Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. One of those left hooks hurt him, and then he finished him out with ground and pound, 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Performed like a minus 500 guy. You know, you could argue
got $100,000, which for a guy on the early prelims, that's huge. Shout out to Mick Parkin. I was super happy for him to get that.
Aspinall.
And that's my other big takeaway here, bro. He trains with the guy that I think is the best heavyweight on the planet. So you're telling me that every day he practices with the best guy, it's only going to make him better.
Yeah, like to my point, he spars Aspinall, let's say 3 times a week. You put him in there against Tai Tuivasa, you think he's like nervous?
Right, that's what I mean. Like whenever your opponent every day is the best guy on the planet, you're not worried about any other fight.
And Cain Velasquez, basically, like that.
Literally
type of energy.
same thing.
And so from that note, I think you're going to be shocked. I've been actually just frothing out the mouth to run this power ranking by you, because we shit on the heavyweight division every week, and there's nothing to be excited about.
I'm a big Parkin guy.
I jumped him all the way up to 12.
Ooh, that's pretty high. Pretty high. Although I like him over Nascimento, I like him over Romanov, I like him right over De Lima.
Nascimento.
Right.
Those are the questions I had to ask myself. Nascimento, Tuivasa, Rogerio De Lima, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Rosenstrike, Carl Williams, Romanov, Robelis de Spain. I like him more than all those guys.
Fully.
So
agree.
what do you want me to do? Now,
like
I stopped at Derek Lewis.
I was going to say Lewis, Rosenstrike, those kinds of guys I still got to see a little bit more.
I have Rosenstrike pretty low. I'm pretty out on Rosenstrike. I think because
yeah, honestly, yeah. In that
he
matchup
seems to have
too,
mailed it in.
And in that matchup, like by my own logic, I would hammer Parkin because Rosenstrike is the worst version of Aspinall on the feet.
For sure. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I stopped at Derek Lewis because it's like, hey, if you're going to box with Derek Lewis, anything can happen. So, like, that's why I stopped it there. But, like, yeah, the Nascimentos of the world, the Tuivasas of the world, the Rogerio De Limas of the world, and half of that is just, like, buy-in. Like, Parkin is, like, he's all in. You can tell. I mean, you don't spar Aspinall 3 times a week as a hobby. I mean, like,
bro, that's
he's
like,
all in.
Yeah,
he takes his career seriously.
I mean, to be fair, man, like if you were a guy that wanted to learn how to play football and you went and practiced with like the #1 defense in the NFL every day and you got to like see what that level was, that's only going to elevate your understanding of what it takes. So like to relate that back to fighting, like for Parkin, he probably understands what it takes to be great whenever he sees it in front of him every single day.
He trains with Aspinall. I'm assuming Aspinall's dad's his coach, or at least one of his coaches. So it's like you, by definition, have a championship level coach. You know what I mean? Like,
good point.
And like, and now remember at first, like he's getting better. Like at first, he was like,
yeah, he was a little boxy, a little cagey.
With Usman, like I think getting the finish here was big, even if it was against the can. Because it's not the first can he fought, and he was going to decisions with cans and shit. So like to go from, like, to me that's big. Like when I'm looking at fighters,
I almost think he's guys
that go to
himself.
Decisions with cans, I like kind of take steam out of. Guys that are finishing cans, it's like, okay, this could be something.
Well, and it's like a personal belief kind of a thing in my eyes, because like now he's starting to believe like, oh, I am faster than these guys. I do hit hard. Like I am gonna go for these finishes.
So, yeah, I'm all in on Mick Parkin. Gets a performance of the night bonus, too, which I'm so happy for him. Aspinall was, like, I don't know if you saw that interview where Aspinall was saying he was, like, literally more
happy for him than himself. Yeah.
So, it's like that camaraderie, that team, like, vibe is fire. I'm all in. It's almost like fighting nerds. Like, you got to be in on that gym right now.
100%.
The vibes are
100%.
high.
And you got to always fade safe, so you'd never forget.
Let's keep it pushing, though.
Remember the fade. Let's keep it pushing. To not fades. In fact, to method of victory parlays that DMAC absolutely fucking shattered cashes. Sam Patterson taking on
for Crosbie.
Yeah, Kiefer Cansby, bro. This guy is so bad.
He's bad. That's why I like Patterson by sub, dude. Like, Patterson likes to go for subs.
He does. You're
Crosby's
so right.
A striker. Patterson by sub, I liked it. At minus 485, I wasn't touching the money line, so I was like, I got to get some value on this fight.
I mean, half
him by sub.
Half the guys' wins had come by sub in his career, and he trains under Team Crossface, a grappling team, no doubt.
Yeah, like, Keeper Crosbie has submission L's and is a striker, like, admittedly. So, yeah, I loved it. Yeah, fight lasts 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Gets the arm triangle.
Got it in once, wasn't deep enough. Got it in a second time. Ultra deep.
Hey, Trey Ogden, take notes.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Patterson's another guy. I kind of feel similar about Patterson as how I feel about Bruno Brazil. Is like I think this story is going to have a happier ending than I thought it was going to be. Like when Patterson debuted and got KO'd by a can, I was like, oh, ultra can.
I'm still like really, really up and down on Patterson.
Yeah, but and here's where I get at. I have him at 56 as opposed to like 80.
Yeah,
he started at like 8.
Yeah. No, that's
so like
super fair.
Like saying Bruno Brazil, like jumper in the top 10. Like I thought this was going to be a can situation. So like Sam Patterson working his way up into the 50s at lightweight, which this division for me is 82 deep. Like I never thought he would make it that high. You know what I mean? Like when I say happy ending, I don't mean gold belt. I just mean like this guy's like he's not a can.
You mean a massage parlor? I agree with you though. Like it's a good story.
Shout out
like,
Robert Kraft.
Shout out Florida. When the book is all said and done and written, like I think Patterson will be a guy that looks back at his UFC career and is happy with how it ends up for him.
Like he's gonna get the most out of it. Now, what does that end up being? But like you know what I'm saying, he didn't leave no fruit on the tree. He didn't leave any stone unturned. Like he maximized what he was going to be capable of. But yeah, man, because I moved him at the 56, right behind Alex Morono. I wanted to jump him over Morono, but Morono, very good at jiu-jitsu, very experienced.
And like we've talked about, we like sample size. Sample size is big for these guys near the back.
He does have that Yanal Ashmu's loss, which is just so hard to stomach.
It is so bad.
But let's keep it pushing here. This is our dog of the week, Marcin Prachnio. We got him at plus 135. And you know what though? I gotta say, on a night where we've been pretty tough on old Harry's picks, I'm not mad at this one. There were multiple times in this fight where I thought Prachnio has the victory, he got within an inch of a finish.
Twice,
a couple times.
Twice,
twice.
Like he
exactly.
was clearly the better striker, and just would. Oh my God, he would get within an inch of a finish. Shout out to Bukauskas' chin, man. But yeah, could never get the knockdown. And every time that he would get these heavy damage flurries, he would end up getting too close. Bukauskas would grab him, get the takedown, and essentially end any of the steam.
What drove me nuts, and it was, and he's like 36 years old now, so this is never going to get fixed. I'll probably fade him moving forward because, he's a great striker, but he strikes himself into the clinch, which is like a rookie mistake, like quite literally.
Well,
that's what Contender Series guys do.
So think about this: he comes from a point fighting karate background where it's all straight line blitzing in and out, and he's not good at the out.
Yes, that's the perfect way to put it. He just strikes himself into the clinch, and then he's terrible in the clinch, and he gets flipped, and he landed that clean head kick from super close range.
So close!
It
was like a foot and a half distance, and he landed it on the face, too.
Powers the movie where they're face to face, and the foot just comes
Rush
up.
Hour.
Gold member.
Both,
and Rush Hour.
movies.
It's been a well-abused gimmick by Hollywood, but that's basically what happened. They were in boxing range, and the foot
just came out of nowhere. And it rocked Bukauskas, and then he ate more shots, and then Prachnio literally punched him across the octagon, and then Bukauskas grabbed him and got a takedown and neutralized all of the effectiveness.
It was tough as a Bukauskas. As a Prachnio better, but like I said, this bet. It wasn't like when we bet Kung Ho Kane and he just fucking fumbled the fight away.
Just got absolutely shit on.
This one, as a bettor, I didn't feel bad. We came so close to cashing out 2 separate times.
Right.
So what can you do?
The path to victory was clearly
it was a low-level fight.
Yes, and the path to victory was clearly there. He was also chopping Bukauskas' leg up at the start, too. Prachnio on the feet was beating his ass. He just needs to learn how to maintain distance. But to your point, he's 36. He's not going to learn that at this point.
36 and mid, you know what I mean?
36 and mid, what a combo. That'll be me in 6 years.
Yeah, and then Bukauskas, it's not like he's a world beater, so I don't know. I didn't really take much away. This fight just shows you where light heavyweight is, man.
I know.
This was a viable light heavyweight fight. I think I had both of these guys in the Kuzi tier. I still have both of these guys in the Kuzi tier because I couldn't drop Prachnio below St. OSP. couldn't jump Bukauskas over Jimmy Crute because Jimmy Crute, I believe, knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
So just banished to the koozie tier for eternity. Let's wrap up these early prelims here with Obon Elliott, who, overachieved by Vegas's metrics, by our own metric.
This man brought his goddamn singlet, man.
Man, his counter wrestling was
so
as good as it could have been.
Yeah, like every other fighter in the UFC should watch this and like learn like this is how you fight against a guy that needs takedowns to win.
Parsons, we had him on our parlay. This was the parlay buster here. We got him at minus 140, finished at minus 160, so we weren't the only marks that lost money out there. Money was coming in on Parsons. Round one, and I see in my Parsons colored goggles here. I thought rounds 1 and 3 were close. Like,
let's see, what did I have here? So yeah, I thought close first round, but for the wrong reasons. Like a lot of snoozy clinch control. I thought either guy could have won the first. I did give it to Parsons, and literally have in my notes as a Parsons better. I'm taking Parsons. So
I gave it to Obon. Like Parsons did the leg kicks and not much else, but Obon was just snoozy clinch control. And there was a lot of it. So I could see give it to Parsons for the damage battle. I wish the judges did, but
one judge did.
Okay, that's fair. And then round 2 is probably Obon's best round of the whole fight. Defended a bunch of takedowns, got his own takedown. Still not much damage. Nowhere in this do I have the word damage.
Bro, he just brought a singlet and counter wrestled, which was all he apparently had to do.
No, round 3 I did give to Parsons. I thought he landed the hardest punch of the round, and he finally got his takedown. Didn't do a ton with it. But that punch, I thought he won the damage battle by a slim margin. Obon wasn't getting a lot of damage off. I gave Parsons 3, so it's crazy. We almost have like a Leon Edwards situations where I gave Parsons 3, you gave Parsons 1.
There was a path.
Our scorecards and our fucking parlay cashes, but
yeah, to your point, I do have 3 being close. I ended up scoring it to Elliott, but I have in my notes very close round for Parsons. I also have in my notes though that I can see a judge giving a 30-27 in this fight, which ends up happening.
That's also
twice.
True. I know that stung. That stung. I was hoping for a robbery. Jared Gordon judges when you need them.
The problem was the robbery wasn't going to be for the American guy. It was for sure going to be for the Brit.
Sure, man. No, I do think the right man won. At the end of the day, I think the right man won. So I was hoping for a robbery there. And as far as Obon Elliott moving forward, like, hey, that takedown defense is a certified skill. Like, that box is checked. Like, you can hang your hat on that. Now, the lack of offense, I have him in koozie tier. I have him both behind Jake Matthews and above Phil Rowe because Phil Rowe fancies himself a grappler, and he's not the best striker. So I think Obon Elliott, Phil Rowe. I'd actually love to see that fight. That's what I would do next. I would do Obon Elliott and Phil Rowe.
I think that's a great fight. I love that fight. And I actually think Obon Elliott wins that fight, man. Just based on the fact that I think any guy that needs to successfully grapple against him for their game plan, like they can't just outstrike him, they're going to have some problems because his anti-wrestling is very good.
But, like, for example, like Muslim Selikov probably pieces him up. Like,
yeah, probably because he can outstrike him. Yeah, that's a good point. Randy Brown probably pieces him up.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, so it's tough.
Now,
or,
let me ask you this.
Him versus Gunnar Nelson might be fun.
What about
just because Gunner's so grappling heavy?
What about like Carlston Harris or Jeremiah Wells?
That's funny. I have him 2 spots ahead of Jeremiah Wells.
I think Wells would be a good fight.
Wells shoots a lot of takedowns, but he will throw some bombs too. Like he'll get busy a little bit. Yeah, that level. Phil Rowe and Jeremiah Wells, I think that's what we need to see from Obon Elliott.
I'm glad we agree, though, that, like, I mean, maybe a koozie, but realistically probably is going to be a guy that stays in the UFC for at least another 4 fights.
To me, that defines koozie. Like, we don't project, like, high ceilings, but, like, it's for sure UFC caliber. Which,
UFC
that's
floor.
The definition of it. Yeah, that's the definition of koozie. And then Parsons, man, I dropped him behind Trevin Giles, but I couldn't really drop him below Charles Radke, man. And
I love Radke. Chuck Buffalo.
like maybe that's what you do next. Preston Parsons, Chuck Buffalo, have a couple of American flats, just kind of get after
it. Dude, it would be great. I like Chuck Buff in that fight.
You know, they both, maybe we let him, instead of the slides, we let him wear the in-between-the-toe leather sandals and just get some American flat.
Oh, my God. Give him some jeans while we're at it.
The Sean Strickland custom
yeah.
jeans.
Toe sandals and jeans.
Joke on Twitter where he was like, I finally got me custom shorts. They're gray sweatpants with a piss stain. I don't even know what that means. Like, I feel like there's like context to this that I need. But yeah, man, that wraps up the early prelim segment, man. Only show out there going over every single fight on every single card. And yeah, check us out on X. That's where we, you know, during the fights, we're live tweeting, sharing our scorecards, you know, giving our opinions, our hot, spicy takes at Beefy Breakdown. Check us out on IG. Boys Breakdown. You know, hit like and subscribe here on YouTube, of course. And if you're a boomer, we're on Facebook, Beefy Boys Breakdown. Engage with us, y'all. We love hearing y'all's thoughts. Y'all, you know, we're not perfect, and we love, you know, call us out if we get something wrong. You know, just let us know in the comments. And, yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. Looking forward to next week. Next week, we're getting a non-Zoom podcast episode, people.
I was just about to say, next week, side note, I'll be able to go through that barrier right there. I will be able to touch this, man. We will be live in Reno.
Cannot wait. Yeah, next week, non-Zoom podcast. Those are always the best, man. Looking forward to it, brother. Also, next week's card is good, man. For a fight night.
We got robbed of a Diaz, brother. All good, because we still got Cheeto, we still got Umar and Sandhagen.
Yeah, that fight didn't do much for me anyway.
By the way,
Diaz, like,
did you hear it sounds like Nick Diaz probably not going to fight again, based on what Dana was saying?
About on par. Like, I think if you're holding your breath for a Nick Diaz fight, then like, you're not. Like, what are you? I don't get that mentality. But yeah, I'm a real scumbag. I've already made my picks for next week, so chomping at the bit.
Yes, sir. Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Cannot wait. Yeah, cannot wait, man. Looking forward to it, man. Thanks for watching, everybody. And next week, you'll see me and Harrison in the same room. Cannot wait, brother.